Hello there, this is Alan Collins, and you're listening to the
Stoned Roadie Show.
When we get up in the morning, along with coffee, toast, and cake, if you're like the old Stone Roadie, you like to wake and bake. Now let's join Craig, Reed, and Griff Martin as we head out on the road. So sit right back and buckle right in. It's a Wake and Bake Morning Show.
Rise and shine, everybody. It's time to Wake and Bake with Craig Reed and Griff Martin.
The Stoned Roadie Show, podcast 251. Wake and Bake, the Morning Buzz, episode 126. Action. Alrighty then, fellow slaves and earthlings, looky here. My name's Craig Reed, a.k.a. the Stoned Roadie, and with me, as always, my co-pilot, co-host, and the rocket scientist, Griff Martin. So here it is, November the 25th, and I would usually call this Thanksgiving Day, but I guess that's going to be on the 28th. But it's Monday morning, and it's back to work on this Thanksgiving week, and me and Kathy Godsey are going to do a Thanksgiving special here on Thursday, so that'll be something you all look forward to. So what are we going to talk about this fine Monday there, Griff?
Yeah, normally whenever Craig and I get on here to do the podcast, it takes Craig sometimes 45 minutes to get ready. And I said, Craig, man, I got the funk, and we need to speed this shit up today. And he's like, okay, man. And so I don't know where I picked the funk up, but it seems like it's getting worse. Started off just like a cough, but the good news is it's like I don't have any appetite. So it's the crud diet. Yeah, and then I can't really go up to North Carolina like I wanted to till I get rid of it. So I'm going to put that on hold for the next few days until I get over the funk. And this weather change might have something to do with it. But yeah, so I'm going to try to get through this. And at the end of the podcast, Dave the Disciple sometime back, heck, it was probably a year ago, he sent me a video of Mark Frank, and I never really put it on there because it's kind of hard to hear anything. It's not easy to understand what's going on, but I hope I was able to put it together. Some of the videos that you sent me there, Dave, they wouldn't open and stuff like that. So I did the best I could with it, man. I hope it's all right. So you guys stick around at the end. It's Mark Frank, plane crash survivor. He's at the monument, and he goes to the hospital, and he kind of talks a little bit about what happened to the plane, and when they brought him to the hospital, and when he was at the crash site, he was kind of talking about when the plane crashed and stuff like that. So stick around for the end of that. And anything else you want to talk about before we go into these comments, Craig, like donations or anything?
Ain't got no donations, but as I've been moseying along trying to get this stuff together to send it out to some people, I'm noticing that I don't have everyone's address. So,
oh no!
So,
oh,
yeah,
God.
so
that could take another year.
Yeah, it's been a while, and so yeah, I might have misplaced your address, but yeah, as I get to your name, I get a hold of you, and I get your address.
Do you have their email?
Current address off of it. Yeah, I got everybody's names. I can contact them. I just want to make sure I have the.
Well, anybody
the right
that's listening,
addresses.
if you won, send Craig your address and tell him, who you are. Maybe that'll help.
Yeah.
Maybe
Tell me
maybe
your
that'll help.
name and your number and your address.
So that must
your
mean he's
name,
working.
your number, and your address.
So that must mean he's working on it. So that's a positive.
And what you're expecting to get in this package you're about to receive. What you were supposed to get. See if you remember.
Yeah,
See if
just
you
add
remember.
whatever you want to it, and,
See if you remember what you were supposed to get. Yeah.
You could.
But I'm working on it. Yeah. Oh, but like I told Griff, this has all been a thing that was meant to be me holding up like this because I've come up with I totally redid my document of authenticity as I did the one for the vest I just sent out. He got the first document of authenticity from the Stone Roadie show. So it gave me
cool.
the idea to do all the things we've done, all the things here we've done, to make it, instead of being from Survivor Films, to be from the Stone Roadie show. So that'll be interesting,
Yeah, and then another thing,
Makes
last
more sense.
podcast we were talking about the car, that coupe that Craig rebuilt at the studio there in St. Augustine, and he was trying to remember what song it was, and he posted it on his timeline, and I went back and tried to find it, and I couldn't, and I can't really put it up on the podcast because they might not monetize us. So go listen to Love Don't Always Come Easy, and I don't have the. It's
Toward
the end.
the end of the song, and right as Johnny goes, "Love don't always come easy," and Gary goes, like that kind of guitar, like it's right toward the easy, Johnny's singing, "Love don't always come easy," yeah.
And what that
Toward the end
was
of the song.
when Craig was first starting the engine after he rebuilt it, and the engine was going, and Gary said, "Man, I want to do a guitar lick with that and put it in a song," and he did.
You'll as soon as you hear it, you'll know it.
Yeah.
Johnny goes, "Love don't always come easy," and Gary goes, As soon as you hear it, you'll go, "Oh, that's it."
Yeah, you can tell.
It's toward the end of the song, yeah. I always liked that song. That's one of Johnny's best songs I think he's written.
What's cool about it for me is I was in that studio, and I didn't even know at the time that Skynyrd or not Skynyrd, but Rossington Collins ever even recorded in there. I didn't know that. I mean, when you're around Derek Hess and Barry Lee, they don't provide any information for you. It's not like you're sitting around with those guys.
That was where the tribute band rehearsed.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. It's like when you're around Barry Lee and Derek Hess, they don't offer up any stories or anything. They just kind of like just sitting around bullshitting. If you want to know something, you better ask them. It's not like they said, "Hey, we recorded here with Gary and the tribute band," and I mean, nobody told me. I didn't know. I was just there, and I didn't know it was. I mean, I knew that a lot of famous people recorded there.
We had that place decorated pretty cool, man. We had the great big flags and all the stuff from gigs posted all up over everywhere, and that's where that MCA Lucky Strikes Smokes thing come up missing out of there, and got auctioned off at one of the auctions. Yeah.
And I wonder if that's the original soundboard that's in there. That would have been cool if you'd have been there, Craig, for when Six Gun did the recording, because you
Is it still laid out to do recording?
Oh yeah, that's where they recorded.
I wonder who has it. I wonder who's.
I don't know.
Who uses it.
I don't know.
Perfect to use.
It's right on the beach, right on A1A.
Well, yeah. It's a little.
Well, across the street from it. Yeah, there's high rises in front of it and everything now, but it's just a little house, you know. And when I walked around back, it looked kind of swampy back there. Like there was a lot of standing.
Well, that train tracks is right across the street. It's right on A1A there.
Yeah, it's on A1A. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which, I'm gonna have to get with some people on that and find out a little bit more history on that. I might even do an on the road with Griff Martin about that thing. I don't know. It's pretty interesting. I didn't realize the history of that place until afterwards.
Well, it was never a rehearsal place until this tribute band made it one. I don't know what. It was some kind of business before then. It was. But,
maybe I got it mixed up because this is a recording studio I went to.
It's right along A1A going towards St. Augustine.
Huh. Okay, well, I'll have to check on it.
It must be a totally different place.
Yeah, this was a recording studio I was at.
No, it must be.
Do you think it's still there, the place?
Well, that building's still there, yeah, but they're not using it for bands to rehearse there, I didn't think.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm going to check into that because I think I do. I might. Maybe this is actually a recording studio, so.
Yeah, I think you had me confused.
It could be two different places. Won't be the first time that I mix something up with something. Matter of fact, there's a lot of people that correct me in the comments and stuff, but it's not hard to do, man, with this skin formation crap. You know, it's a lot of it. There's a lot of it out there, but and we got a lot of good comments and questions. Got like almost 200. And there weren't that many Kimmy questions and comments either. So, yeah, and I sent Craig a thing on his instant messenger about those. You remember that fire in Hawaii? Come to find out that those fires have been going on all over the world, and there's an expert who has dissected a lot of that and proven it to be bullshit, that it was just a regular fire, and he says that's a weapon. And I sent it to Craig, and you watched it, right, Craig?
Oh yeah, that guy, he's investigated hundreds of regular forest fires, and then he said all of a sudden these fires started popping up. He goes, they don't make sense. They don't burn like regular forest fires. They're way, way, way too hot. The glass is melting right out of buildings. The aluminum wheels are melting off of cars, and stuff that's supposed to be burnt that isn't burnt close to it. It doesn't make sense. These are intentional. Microwave things. This is crazy. All this cloud seeding and all this intentional forest fire and all this weather manipulation and all this stuff, all the poisoning the food, man.
There's some crazy shit.
It's crazy. I mean, it's just absolute insanity. And you people that support this stuff, you're so damn brainwashed and indoctrinated. You actually support this shit.
Well, one thing,
y'all are sick, man.
They said was like red cars, red roofs, and blue roofs don't burn. And the guy said that he talked to somebody that did tattoo removal with lasers, and they said they gotta use a different kind of a laser for red tattoos and blue tattoos. They got to go over it twice because the laser don't seem to affect it. And he says that's why he thinks it's a laser. And then there's like culvert pipes underground that are melting underground. And he said it's just, it's just not jiving the way these things are, like a tree right beside a car. A car completely melted, and then the tree right beside it didn't even get phased, or a single leaf on the tree didn't even burn up. It's
Something's up with these blue roofs. 'Cause I saw
yeah,
something where just about every building in China now has got a blue roof.
yeah, probably because they might even be the ones doing it. Who knows? You know,
Yeah.
it's definitely a weapon. But I forget the title of that YouTube video that I sent to you, but it's pretty
Yeah,
interesting.
it's yeah, that was interesting. Yeah, that stuff's all intentional, man. It's
I knew that would get Craig fired up. That's why I sent it to him.
oh man, that stuff's and this stuff that's going on in North Carolina is just a travesty. It's just they're trying to them people down there, they're not going to leave. You know, they got them living down there in tents. They won't let them live in RVs because of zoning restrictions or something. You got to be kidding me. They're making these people live in tents because they're some kind of restrictions against recreational vehicles or some kind of bullshit, man. This government's
Well, it's because
criminal. It's
they're Trump
absolute
voters.
criminal what they're doing to those people, and they're hiding it. And there's hundreds of people that have been killed down there on land that has, from what I understand, has been sold and bulldozed over. All these bodies have just been buried. They don't even know who they are. And then they're trying to say there's 96 people that are dead from this.
Yeah, I heard somebody say it's 243
it's
people dead. Yeah,
there's 10,000 people down there dead and 10,000 people displaced, and it's criminal what they're
well,
doing.
there's tons of videos on it on YouTube, but when I go up there, I'm gonna do a little investigation, myself and find out what's going on. But they already are predicting that by January, there's going to be people dying from freezing to death because they're in
because they're
tents.
making them live in tents. They won't
Yeah.
let them live in any kind of trailers or anything. They're making them live in tents. And these
And that's what they need is blankets, coats, and heaters, and things like that. I mean, I've got a bunch of clothes I'm taking up there, but they really need heaters and blankets
it's
and
criminal.
jackets and things like that. I'm surprised Trump hasn't done something more
I
about
don't
it.
think that. I was thinking about that today. Why he hasn't said, when I actually become president, I'm going to fix this, or why
Yeah.
I don't know what he can do, but I'm still shocked that he's eating McDonald's. I'm still traumatized because of Trump's eating McDonald's.
I
That
know.
stuff. You can put a blowtorch on one of them damn hamburgers and it won't do anything.
He even made RFK eat some of it with
It's
him.
crazy. And that Popeye's spicy chicken sandwich has got like 300 ingredients in it. 300.
Yeah,
It's crazy.
I got a
what you
feeling all
people
of this
eat.
is gonna come out in the open. It's all gonna come out. And I also think this woke crap is just gonna go away because there's too many people that, are waking up and they're like getting tired of this woke crap. And there's a lot of people are saying, yeah, the season of the wokeness is over. But there's some weirdos out there still that believe in that crap.
I saw where McDonald's did some kind of a blueberry special thing. Did some kind of a blueberry thing, and it lasted for 2 weeks. Because in 2 weeks they completely decimated the entire blueberry stock. There was no blueberries left anywhere in 2 weeks. The McDonald's,
Really?
yeah, the special thing they put on destroyed all the blueberries. I
I'm
don't know how
surprised
that
that-
would be because there's been plenty of blueberries around here, but that's
I'm
what,
surprised those blueberries are real at McDonald's.
oh my God. Yeah, that is surprising. But they were saying if they did that to blueberries, how are they keeping up with the chicken and the beef? You know what? That it can't be real. The stuff that they sell as chicken and beef can't be real. They have to be adding stuff to it. They can't.
Probably Soylent Green.
I don't know, but
Yeah.
people are eating it. Yeah,
You know, telling you might be eating your own ant.
Trump's eating it. That's what I can't believe. Oh my God.
Yeah, and these people that run the world are feeding it back to us. These people that are dying, and they're sitting back and laughing about it. But anyway, we'll jump into these comments here and these questions because we got quite a few of them, and you guys have sent some really good comments and questions, and and what I really like to do is anybody, and I mentioned it on the last podcast, that if you've got any concerts that you went to and that was a Lynyrd Skynyrd concert or a Rossington Collins or anything, and you saw something on stage that those guys were doing that you thought was pretty cool or whatever, share it with us. And then if you have questions for Craig Reed, who, was the original roadie for Lynyrd Skynyrd, if you got a question, ask it, put it in the comments. And if it's not, too stupid,
I
not
did
too
every
lengthy
show
of
Lynyrd
a-
Skynyrd after the Who tour. I did every show Lynyrd Skynyrd did all the way up until the plane crash. I did every show they did after the Who tour. And then Rawson and Collins, I did every show they ever did. And Alan Collins, I did every show he ever did. So
not that Craig will be able to remember anything.
no,
that you
not
said
that I
there.
can remember them, but I was there,
Yeah, but you can
I was
still
there
ask
in
him
body.
and see if he remembers it. So, yeah. So anybody that has a question or some cool story about what happened on stage, or anything about Lynyrd Skynyrd or Rossington Collins or Alan Collins band, put it in the comments. I go through all of them. I don't answer all of them. I can't get to all of them, but the most interesting ones I will. And if they're real long explanations, I can't go through. I can't do that real long stuff. It's just not enough time in the day for me to read huge stories. To make it condensed. Do a Reader's Digest version of it. Because if I see one that's real long, I'm just going to pass by it. So let's jump in there and start, Craig, on these comments and questions, and write out this Steve Jones, man. He's a pretty smart guy when it comes to Skynyrd stuff. He's always got some good skin formation, and he, I guess he was around that period of time, when he got to see a lot going on, and he either remembers or looks it up, but we appreciate that, Steve Jones. And he says, Gary played on a song called Fallen Angel on Meatloaf's 83 release, Midnight at the Lost and Found, which I was, somebody's mentioned something about, did Gary play with Meatloaf? And Craig's like, I don't remember that. So I guess Steve Jones either looked it up or he knew about it. So
1980?
It's 1983 release of Midnight at the Lost and Found.
Boy, I don't remember
That's some
that.
that's some
1983 would have been right at the end of the Rawson and Collins band.
He said Gary played on a song called
Yeah.
Fallen Angel on
Was it
Meatloaf's
after
83.
he left? Was it after he left Allen?
I don't
And
know.
went to
That's,
Wyoming? Because I can't remember him doing that. It might have been after he left Jacksonville and went to Wyoming.
Well, it's midnight at the Lost and Found, so we could look that up, and I'll put a star
It's
by it.
1983. That's when
Yeah.
they split up.
I'll do a little investigation on that, but
I don't remember that.
then Roger Johnson. Let's see here. Didn't Gary use a Phase 90 on Tuesday's Gone? It sounds like it. Remember we were talking about that Gary and Alan never used any pedals?
Not on Tuesday's Gone, he didn't.
No, wasn't. He didn't use the Phase 90 on that song?
No, he used it on Mr. Breeze, right where he goes, ran.
Yeah, you can tell it.
Yeah.
Oh, shit. We might not get monetized now. Craig's just hummed it.
And then it goes, rent, and then I turn it off right there. That's when I turn it off.
Oh, you're the one that turned it off?
I'm the one that turned it on and off, yeah.
Oh, no shit.
And I had to do it right at the exact spot so you wouldn't hear it click in the PA.
Oh, no kidding.
I had to hit it exactly.
What about when they recorded it? Did you do it then too?
No. I only, because Gary would always have to come back to his amp and hit the button because we only had a real short cord on it, and he'd always have to come back to his amp and hit that. And I went, Gary, it would look so much cooler if you could just stand out on the front of the stage when you do that. Instead of coming back, you're back there at the amp line. When you do that, you'd look a lot cooler if you were out all the way out front when you did that. And I'll just turn it on.
Nobody would even know it.
Yeah, and he go, okay, yeah, but you got to hit it right at the right spot. You can't hit it right at that bad spot because you'll hit if you push it, it'll go click. So I had to click it. So that for a few first few times he was real apprehensive about the whole thing, making it perfect because So yeah, but
if we go back and look at
after we started doing it, he really got off on it. I'd click it and he go ran.
So if I go look at like the Winterland. And it's on there, and you doing it?
Back. He always back in the early days. He always had to go back to his amp and click it.
I wonder if there's any video out there of him out front playing it, and you were taking care of that then. What year do you think that was that you started doing it? You started doing it.
I don't remember. I don't remember.
But it was Mr. Breeze, right?
Yeah.
Okay, let me investigate that. Yeah, if anybody sees any of that video, just email it to me. Or email it to Craig. That'd be kind of cool. We probably wouldn't be able to play it because we wouldn't get monetized, but it'd still be cool to know. We could figure it out. All right. Scooter weed. Is it true Leon got all of his teeth knocked out in the plane crash?
I don't think so. I think he had all his own teeth. I don't, because he lived here. He never had any issues with.
Yeah. I saw a picture of Billy. Looked like he was walking around the plane crash site. And somebody took a picture of him, and his nose was all bloody.
Yeah, his nose was almost cut off.
Yeah, he was walking around the plane crash site there, and
yeah,
he was walking around. Could you imagine? You're on the plane, and then the damn thing crashes in the woods, and you look around and you go, "Damn, I'm gonna get the hell out of here!" And now you're walking around outside. Yeah, that's
Billy didn't want nobody to come around him. because his nose was hanging off.
Yeah,
He didn't want nobody to pull his nose off. He was holding his.
that's
nose.
what Gene said, because Gene told me that he was laying underneath the wing and he was going, help, help. And I swear to God, he told me that Billy took his foot and pushed him away. And then later on, I asked Gene, I said, is that true? He goes, no, man, I didn't say that. And I was like, I swear to God, he told me that. But yeah, so yeah, I don't know about Leon's teeth there, Scooter Weed.
I don't think Leon had false teeth.
Then Triple R, Triple T, bring Derek Hess and Jimmy Withers on the podcast and get Gene on the phone with them. Well, I wouldn't mind just doing it on the road with Derek Hess, and and I'm sure Jimmy might even set it up. I'll have to ask him. That's one thing that I do want to try to accomplish is to get Derek Hess on the podcast. So I'll start working on that. Sometimes it ain't easy.
Derek doesn't think he has anything to add. I talked to him once before. He goes, I don't have nothing to talk about. But I think he does.
Yeah, he's got plenty. Trust me, he's got plenty. And Randall Hall,
he's
too.
got some skin formation people want to know.
Oh, no doubt about it.
all that Washington Collins and Alan Collins stuff. Oh my God.
Yeah, and then we got we're talking on the podcast about the plaster caster lady she was kind of like a groupie, kind of like Sweet Connie, but she went around making plaster casts of rock stars' penises, and then Crazy Kimmy, if you follow the podcast, Crazy Kimmy says she wants to volunteer and make a cast breasts. And so we said, well, maybe nobody wants to see that, or maybe they do. Let's leave it up to the listeners. So Palo Vincent says he wants to see a sample of it there, Crazy Kimmy. So if you could just, maybe you could do a sample and send it to us. And then that way, kind of give us an idea if it's worth doing. So I don't know, they could be too saggy for people to even care about. But we don't want to detour you, Kimmy. So, maybe they're perky and nice. I don't know. And then Jeff says, Bob Burns would have been 74 years old as of Sunday, 11/24. Was that yesterday, Craig? Yeah, I guess it was Bob Burns' birthday.
Oh, wow.
Happy heavenly birthday to Bob Burns, which,
I saw something that Joe Crimp put up with when he was talking to Randall Hall was talking to Bob somewhere. Bob had a rebel flag shirt on.
Oh yeah, that was backstage at some concert, and then Bob was talking about Joe Crimp. He was saying, "Yeah, old Joe Crimp, man, he's a cool guy." Yeah, I remember Joe sent that to me once. Maybe I can I'll get Joe to send that to me, and I'll put it on the podcast if he'll let me. That'd be kind of cool to put on the podcast. So let me mark that down for something to work on. And then John says he saw 38 Special in Jacksonville at their peak. He said they rocked the house hard. Jeff Carlisi was wearing a Ferrari mechanic jumpsuit. He says, I didn't even smoke weed back then, but I got so high from the music, I drove all the way to Georgia, and I lived in Cocoa, Florida. He said it was crazy loud, and I was deaf for days. That's kind of weird. There's a lot of people in here that used to live in my old stomping grounds in Cocoa, Florida. So, yeah, John, I used to live I lived in Cocoa for 35 years in that Brevard County area, when I worked at Kennedy Space Center. So it's kind of strange. There's other people in here that live there too that have mentioned it. And then Autumn Honecker saw Skynyrd in Johnson City, Tennessee in 1977. I saw a girl run up on stage and kiss Ronnie, and he looked like he had a great time. She said it was one of the best concerts she's ever seen. What's weird about that is I had property in Johnson City. I really like Johnson City, Tennessee. When we went to that thing to see Six Gun, Craig, on the water at that bar, that was Johnson City or Kingsport.
Oh, yeah?
They're kind of close, right next to each other, yeah. So that's a really nice area up there, really nice people, and I had property there actually in Jonesboro, there, Autumn Honecker. I had property there, and I lost it in a divorce, or I'd probably still be going up there. And Irwin is right near there, and that's where the flood hit, one of the areas where the flood hit there in Irwin, which is pretty close to where my place was. Chip Cruey. I saw Ronnie grab both Gary and Alan by the hair and yank on it. Also saw him bite Gary. It was the opening night of the last tour. They had broke the record for indoor attendance. Yeah, I guess old Ronnie, he kind of pushed Gary and Alan around on stage, right? And kind of...
Yeah, he'd grab him by the hair. And he'd bite Gary right here on the shoulder, right there on that muscle right there.
Why did he do that?
Down there and bite him. Right when he was doing a guitar part, he'd get down there and bite him right on the shoulder there, yeah. Gary had bite marks on his shoulder right there where Ronnie would bite him.
Yeah, Ronnie was a biter. Yeah, I remember Chad telling me that Ronnie even told him, he said, if you ever get in a scrap with anybody and you're not winning, he said, just bite the shit out of him. He said, bite a hunk of meat and spit it out.
That's what I said. Ronnie was just mean, man. Yeah, if you was fighting with him and he got a piece of you in his mouth, that was his. He would just bite a chunk out of you.
And then Chad told me, he said, Alan said, I don't fight like Ronnie. He says, I like to hit a guy as hard as I can and just run. He said, that's what you need to do, Chad, is hit him and run. I kind of did that one time myself. I did something similar to that. I was drunk and I hit a guy, and I was in a car, and he grabbed me, and I was in a Gran Torino, and they couldn't catch me. And this was a big dude. If they'd have caught me, they'd have killed me, but I got away from them. The old Gran Torino, you remember those Gran Torinos, Craig? It's 70 models, 77, 78 models.
Oh, yeah.
Things were fast, man.
Oh, yeah. The Dukes of Hazzard car.
And then Jeff says, I doubt the guitar Gary gave Jelly Roll was an actual Gary Rossington guitar. That was probably
not, yeah.
Probably they bought one and said, let's give it to Jelly Roll and make him feel good.
Yeah.
Because
it could have been one of Gary's, I don't know, copies. I don't know.
Yeah, who knows? But, I mean, if Gary gave it to Jelly Roll and said, here, this is one of my guitars, that makes it one of his guitars. So... and he hasn't done that for anybody else that I heard of. So he must have really.
Well, Gary had after he retired Bernice, he had a couple of spares. Yeah,
yeah, I'm sure.
But then that was, God, that was when I left. I left in 2006. you know, and since then, that it was after that's when they came out with his signature models, and you know,
Oh yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, you know, Gary's collection now they're trying to get it all authenticated and Brandon Campbell's kind of working on that, and Kent Griffith, those guys are trying to help him out with that. Um, actually, Gene called me other day and said he was out at Gary's at the cemetery at Gary's grave site, and Dale came pulling up and got out, and I said, well, so how did y'all get along? He said, oh yeah, she gave me a big hug, and you know, we talked for a little while, and yeah, we did some catching up. So, well, that's good to hear. You know, he said that she came out to visit Gary, and that was just last week. He told me. So he ran into Dale. Yeah, he ran into Dale at Gary's gravesite. And Gene called me earlier today, but I was outside messing around, and I'm gonna have to call him back and see what he's up to. He's got some blood work that came back bad, and they need to send him to a hematologist. Old Gene's got a lot going on right now, some health issues, and God bless him. I hope we get him all straightened out. You know, he's got the prostate cancer he's dealing with. They need to do some testing, and they got to make sure that his heart's good enough for that. And they've been talking to the heart doctor before they put him under. And so, but old Gene, you know, he's still old Gene. You know, he's not like he's worried about it or anything. He's going around doing what Gene does. He was having issues with his truck, the anti-lock brake system, and he said that it was a real expensive part to fix it. And somebody that was a friend of his, or somebody that they took on a tour or something, told him, said, just pull the damn fuse out of there, Gene. And he said, is that how easy it is? And so he pulled the fuse out of the anti-lock brake system, and he said it worked fine. After he replaced a brake drum and caliper, he spent a bunch of money on all these parts. And the guy said, just pull the damn fuse out, Gene. And he said he did that, and now the truck's running great. That's the truck the guy gave him at the, at the monument.
The red one, yeah.
That red one. And we met that guy, you know, that gave him the truck.
Oh, yeah.
And his girlfriend, the guy was in a wheelchair. Yeah, that was nice of him to give Gene that truck. And Gene will flat run the wheels off of a vehicle now. If Gene's got a vehicle, it don't sit. He uses it until he runs the wheels off of it. he don't care. I told him, I said, he goes, bring that boat over here. And I said, well, at my truck, I said, I just drive my truck around town. It's got almost 300,000 miles on it. And he goes, the damn thing's running. Drive it to California if you have to. I said, man, I don't want to break down in California. So, yeah, he don't care. He gets in it and goes. And if it breaks down, he'll worry about it then. That's how Gene is. Donald Johnson. What happened to pieces of the Hell House when it was torn down? Are there any pieces floating around? Gene told me that when that burned down, they got a bulldozer over there, and they bulldoze it, and there's like a bunch of dirt, like big dirt mounds on the perimeter of that property, still to this day. And it's just all, when they cleared all that land and everything, and they piled it all that up, so you wouldn't be able to tell what's Hell House and what isn't, because it was completely demolished. And I don't know of anybody. There's one guy I saw on the internet who said he had the circuit panel to the Hell House, and he put it in his house. And that's on YouTube on a video. He said he took the circuit panel out of
The fuse
hell
box.
house, the
I
fuse
remember
box.
the fuse box.
Yeah, and he's
I remember
using
that.
it in his house and
Oh,
it's
wow.
in a house today. Yeah, and it's his electric is running through that.
I remember that fuse box. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's kind of crazy. Um, Linda Joe LaCava, Griff, I always see guitars behind you. Do you play? Well, I think it was 248 that I just did the video of
Just
all my
the
guitars.
last podcast you were
Was
talking
it?
about
Yeah. So
playing,
go back
yeah.
and look at the last, it's either the one before the last or the last podcast. I did a whole thing on all my guitars. So go
Yeah.
back and look at that. I kind of extensive. Well, it was kind of a fast thing that I did. I showed all my guitar collection. So yeah, I've only got seven guitars, 6 acoustics and 1 electric. So it's not a huge collection. And then Brian Gibbons, I'm going to see Six Gun at the end of the month. Kathy Keeble is going to introduce me to them. Yeah, and Kathy Keeble, I got your text message and the other day, and I hope you're doing well. And she mentioned Brian Gibbons is going to go there, and she mentioned where they're going to be. And if you guys want to go see Six Gun, go to the Six Gun website and look them up and see where they're playing. Maybe they're playing near you, and you can go check them out. I guarantee you, you will not be disappointed because Six Gun is one hell of a good band, and I've seen every time I've seen them, they don't disappoint. Especially Smick and Zach and you know they're pretty tight. They're pretty tight band. I don't know who they got drumming now, but Savannah is their bass player, and she's been with them a while, and so they're pretty good showmen. They do a great job. Wesley Garrett says, Craig, bring that Banshee and you and Griff come down to East Tennessee and I'll show you around the off-road park. There's 78,000 acres of at the off-road park, and that's a lot of acres, man. I'd be willing to do that. He said you can rent side-by-sides or four-wheelers there, and you got 78 acres of trails and stuff. Wesley Garrett. Yeah, man, send Craig an email about where that's at thestonedroadie@gmail.com, and we'll check that out. Because Craig, man, he might take that Banshee there. I don't know.
I don't have no way to haul that Banshee down there.
Well, you just rent a U-Haul, man.
Oh, wait.
Well, we can go rent a 4x4. There.
I don't have no hitch on my Lexus.
But they rent off-road vehicles. Yeah, you might be too old for that now, Craig. I could still do it, but you might.
They don't rent
old.
no Banshee though.
Well, they got other stuff. If you can't take your Banshee, they got other stuff. I tell you, one of the funnest things I did when I was in Hawaii and Kauai, where they filmed that dinosaur movie. What the heck's the name of that dinosaur movie?
Jurassic Park.
What's that?
Jurassic Park.
Yeah, Jurassic Park. And I drove all those roads back through. I was in Jurassic Park on a dune buggy, and I drove, and they got that tree there they hid behind, and that was like a blast, man, going through Jurassic Park on a dune buggy. That's like one of the funnest things I ever did. I'll see if I can dig that video up, and maybe I can post it. Then Rich Johnson, I saw Skynyrd summer of '77 at JFK Stadium in Philadelphia. Dickey Betts, Jay Giles, then Skynyrd played, and then Frampton. There were over 1,000 people there, 100,000 people there.
Yeah.
And there was over 100,000 people there, and that's where Artimus did a peace sign for some rowdy folks. I guess some rowdy folks were kind of raising hell, and Artimus made a peace sign with his drumsticks. You remember anything about that, Craig?
No.
And that's
Not
where
really.
Gene and Ronnie and Dickey Betts got in that big argument across the street at the Hilton.
Oh, I
Inn.
remember that.
Yeah, so that's where that happened at. Yeah, that's where Gene told me that story where Dickey Betts was down in the bar and Gene was up in his room sleeping, and somebody called him and said, "You better get down here. Ronnie's about to get in a fight with Dickey Betts." And Gene ran down there, and Dickey Betts had that belt with the what's that belt that he had that's got all those
The conch belt, yeah.
conches on it, yeah. And he was Dickey Betts was swinging around in the air saying, "Lynyrd Skynyrd sucks." And Ronnie and him was about to fight, and he said Gene knocked the shit out of Dickey Betts.
They got into it, yeah.
Yeah, and then
They got into it.
and
yeah.
then they hauled him out I guess that bar was kind of like run by the mafia, and they hauled Dickey Betts out in the alley and beat the shit out of him. And Dickey Betts was so drunk he thought Gene did it, and he put a hit out on Gene.
Yeah, there was some shit going on. I remember that.
Yeah, and then Gene went to his trailer the next day and said, "Hey man, that wasn't me. Beat the shit out of you. That was all those other guys drug you out in the alley." He said, "But," he goes, "you better watch out. They don't like you in that bar in there, and you better go apologize to those people and make it right, or they might kick your ass some more, And so him and Gene made up. Yeah, and that's on the podcast. We told that story. I don't know. I had Gene on either on the phone or on the podcast telling that whole story. So yeah, you guys go in there and look for it. Gene Odom told that whole story on the podcast. So that's one of those things you just have to go find out which one it was, because we got 251 podcasts, and I have no idea which one it was. David Hester says, "Let Kimmy send her breast casting to Craig so he can display it on his wall behind him. Then people can offer it for, you can put it up for sale and they can make offers on it." He said you'll be able to sell it that way.
Well, the whole thing was we thought we would just put it out there and see if we could get any interest in if anybody had any interest in.
Well, they're saying they do
in the subject, and it appears like we might have some takers on Kimmy's breast. So
I think so. Kimmy, go ahead and do it. And then while you're at it, don't send Craig his thing in the mail yet till everybody gets their shit, because because we don't want to be sending Craig anything till
probably the best thing to do, Kimmy, is just get you a wet T-shirt and take a picture of your
that ain't a bad idea,
of your items in a wet T-shirt, and then we can visualize what those items would look like in a plaster cast, and and that would be the kind of the easiest way. So just put them in a wet T-shirt and send us a picture.
That's your assignment, Kimmy.
I think that's the easiest way to solve this.
Yeah.
But it's easier than making a plaster cast. Just put them in a wet T-shirt and send us a picture of them, and we'll see.
I remember when I was like about 18 years old, there was this bar called the XYZ, and this guy lived across the street from me, and he used to be like the DJ down at the XYZ. And he got sick or something. He got hurt or sick or something. He asked me, "Hey, man, can you take my place?" And I was like, well, I saw what he did down there, and he just introduced the bands, and then when they had wet T-shirt contests, he'd be the guy that put the water on the girls' T-shirts. And so I said, man, I think I can do that. So that was probably one of the best jobs I ever had. Was for about a month, I would go down there and pour water on their T-shirts. But then they said, because I guess I took it to another level, and somebody complained, and then they gave me a little spray bottle, and I couldn't dump water on them. I had to spray them with a spray bottle because I was getting a little carried away, I think. And they didn't look like a T-shirt when I was done. You could see through it pretty good. And then the way that they won was the meter on the amp, on the PA. If whoever got the loudest cheer is who won. So I remember that was a fun time. Backcountry says he wishes he could have a better look at that '67 Martin that I showed on my guitar collection. He said it's got the Brazilian rosewood, so he knows a little bit about the '67 Martin of mine. I didn't show it up close. I don't like to handle that thing too much. That Martin that I showed, it needs a neck reset on it. I keep it in the case, and I got that thing from a dentist who was getting a divorce, and I think I paid $1,800 for that thing.
Wow.
That was probably 20 years ago. And that guitar now, man, is worth it. It's got that Brazilian rosewood on it, and that's extinct. You can't make guitars out of that anymore. And so, I really, that's probably my nicest guitar. I really like that guitar, and but I don't bring it out very often. I keep it in the case. But yeah, a little bit about that, huh, Backcountry?
You said the action's too high on it to play. You need to get the neck reset.
Yeah, the neck needs to be reset. And I can't see me playing that guitar because I'm afraid. I had that one guitar and I knocked it over and broke the neck on it. And I'm afraid I'm going to do something stupid like that. So that's the reason I keep it in the case. And that wouldn't be like something I would want to play. It's more of a collector item, but somebody might want to play it. If I ever get to the point one day when I sell it, I don't know if I'll have that neck reset before I sell it. I have to check on if it makes it more valuable. But, the luthier that does it has to be somebody pretty credible, because when they go cutting that neck off, that's a pretty big deal. You got to take you got to heat it up and slide a knife underneath there. And then once you get the neck off of it, you got to cut a section of it out. So when you put it back, it lowers the action on it. It's a big process. And it's not something just you want anybody to do. Gruen's does it, but they're expensive, but they'll do it. But there's probably a waiting list for that. But, that's a nice guitar. That '67 Martin. It's either a '67 or '68. Can't really remember. Winslow Red Cross. It's good to hear Alan's voice at the intro of the podcast. He says, I like to hear, or she said, that's a she. I like to hear Derek Hess talk about Rossington Collins Band on the podcast. Yeah, like I said, I'm going to work on that, see if I can't get Derek Hess to come on here. But a lot of people are liking old Alan on the intro there. A lot of people don't know what Alan sounded like because he didn't do many interviews, did he, Craig?
No, he didn't. No, actually, sometimes he would send when they went to do an interview. He would send Dean.
Yeah, he didn't like to do. Yeah,
he sent Dean on a few of them.
I mean, there's some I remember an interview he did when he was talking about Rossington Collins and how they got Dale Krantz, and they said, yeah, he said, man, she's a wailing bitch. But other than that, you don't hear a lot of Alan recorded talking.
No.
You don't see him like you see Gary on a lot of stuff, but you don't see much of Alan. And then a lot of pictures, band pictures. Alan's always hiding behind somebody, kind of. You notice that?
Yeah,
Yeah. He's kind of in the back, and he's kind of like laying low. I don't think he liked publicity too much. And then Rock On says, Griff, it's THC in the bloodstream, not blood in the TCH stream. Well, the reason I say that is I got that from Gene Odom. Gene Odom told that to Chad. He goes, that damn Craig, he's got blood in his TCH. Gene's not a drug guy, so he kind of butchered that up. And so we laugh about it. That's why we say that's why I say Craig's got blood in his TCH stream, because that's what Gene said. So and that's the same thing. He named Nick Gentry, who's the guitar player for Six Gun. One day he kept calling him Smick, and we're like, it's not Smick, it's Nick. And he goes, I don't give a shit, it's Smick now. And so that's why we call Nick Gentry Smick, because Gene nicknamed Nick Smick. And I even had a little necklace that I made for Smick out of airplane crash metal, and gave it to Smick with his name engraved on it for a little gift. And was speaking of that aircraft debris and people, talking about the Hell House pieces and what happened to them. I've got a lot of stuff that I'm going to be selling here, and I'm going to make a little video rather than put it on here, and I'll put it on the Griff Martin files. And when I'm done with it, if you people are interested in buying some of that stuff off of me, I need to start unloading. I got Hell House wood. I got Curtis Lowe store wood. I've got Ronnie Van Zant's mailbox. Not to mention, I've got airplane crash debris and all kinds of stuff. And I just need to start getting rid of some of that stuff. I mean, I got a lot of it, and so I'm going to start offering it up. And I want to try to put a fair price on it, but I'm not going to give it away. And I'm kind of working on some shadow boxes and things. And I also got T-shirts and stickers, but I'll do a video on all of that stuff. But I'm not going to put it on here. I'll put it on the Griff Martin files, and you guys I'll tell you when it's ready, and you can contact me if you're interested in it. And a lot of people have been asking me about that stuff. So that concludes all the comments and questions, Craig. And like I said, we got that Mark Frank video at the end. And speaking of items, have we sold all the items? The only thing we have left is these 38 special passes that we want to try to get. This is 38 special tour 2005. We're going to try to get either Carlisi or maybe
trying to get Chad to contact Jason, Don Barnes' son. I don't know how to get a hold of Don.
I'll give Chad a call and see if he can help us out with that. Getting somebody to sign that.
Yeah, Brandon knows. Got to go get a hold of Carlisi. I know Carlisi, but I don't know how to get a hold of him.
Yeah,
but we got this camera.
That's right, the camera.
Got the camera here, the Combo 3, and we do have a bid on it. Barry Vaughn bid $175 on it. The Combo 3, and he sent me an advertisement. I said it was an $800 camera. He sent me an ad where he saw one for $669, the Combo 3 like this.
The heck, man, I'll go ahead and offer $200 for it myself. So I'm gonna bump that up to $200.
This is the carry. This is the It comes with the combo. It comes with this carrying case, and it comes with extra batteries and tripod and all kind of stuff is all in here. And then it's got this hard shell case that the camera pops into that hard shell case there because it's got this gimbal on the top. So when you open
That's a great camera, man.
when you open that up, this gimbal, it turns it on and off. When you open it up, that gimbal moves around. So really,
yeah, how cool is that? Yeah, man. I'll bump that up another $50. Somebody's going to have to beat me on that now because, yeah, we got to do better than
that's what I said.
150.
I said, the last one was a $400 camera, and it went for $175. I said,
And that's a donation by Robert Wheatley.
yeah,
he's bought a lot of
Robert
stuff.
Wheatley.
And he's got a lot of cool stuff that he gets from Amazon, and cell phones. And if anybody's looking for electronics, contact Craig. He'll show you how to get a hold of Robert Wheatley, and you ought to check with him before you go anywhere else.
Yeah, I'm having him search for me one of those P1000 Nikons that you can take pictures of the moon and stuff with. Those are it's kind of hard to get a deal on one of those because they quit making them and stuff. But he's gonna.
Yeah, he gets stuff in bulk.
If he can get if it's a deal, he can get something through Amazon. He can get deals on stuff through Amazon. That's how he gets deals on stuff. So that's how he's. But yeah, it's all new. It's just
it's just
bulk stuff.
Right. It's new.
The camera. This camera here. This is the one that he sent me. The box. The one that he sent for the donation. It's still in the package. It's all ready to ship out. I haven't even taken it out of the package yet. But it's a cool outfit. But yeah, that's all.
Yeah, so you guys stick around for the Mark Frank video that Larry Tate, which is Dave the Disciple, and thank you for that video, and we finally getting it out there. Sorry it took so long there. I might not have it in order how he sent it to me. And Dave, I tried my best to open all of them, but because I got a jump drive that you sent me, and that's what it came off of, was that jump drive. Some of it opened, some of it wouldn't, but it's pretty good information. You get to see old Mark Frank on there, so you guys stick around for that video. And with that, Craig,
all right,
trails.
This was podcast 251, and we'll see you again for podcast 252 on Wednesday, and then we'll see you for podcast 253 on Thursday on Thanksgiving with a Thanksgiving special with me and Kathy Gozzi. And until then, see you later, alligator, at the Wild Crocodile, and happy trails to you. Until we meet again. And now we'll call that a wrap. We're out of here, cut.
Trying to come through the trees, trying to slow us down. Come through.
What caused the engine to quit?
This junk, this piece of shit started with, excuse my French. But if we were having trouble with fuel, it's not, we have plenty of fuel. We lost a lot of fuel real fast, real quick. To this day, I can remember seeing fuel being pumped out. That was two electric fuel pumps, the one for each. I can remember seeing fuel being pumped out in the arc, right propeller stopping at the same time. So that just tells me that we had probably 6 or 7 minutes to pump out all the fuel that we had. So that's the reason why they found less than a pound of fuel. And
So engine had quit by then?
Oh yeah, you know, once there.
All right.
I can tell you about how we came in. I can't tell you as good as Dwayne and all of them.
Yeah.
But anyway, we came in, we was passed. He had turned around, we started having trouble, and it was on the angle. Anybody that can tell you that we came in a circle on a certain angle knows what they're talking about. But anyway, it was past all those trees, that tree line there, back. Pretty good little, maybe 100 yards. That's when we came in. We were heading for the comb. Then we started hitting trees and came across for 495 feet at a 12-degree angle and popped that big one. That was it. We almost came through them. That's by Johnny Moe. If it hadn't been for that one big tree, we would have made it through them. But we didn't, you know. What's your name?
My name's Tom.
I'm Mark.
Mark. Pleasure to meet you, buddy.
That's Mark.
I'm Dave.
Dave.
Nice to meet you.
Good to meet you.
You can just give us a tour of Southwest America. Staying busy?
Not today. Today's Friday. They start shutting stuff down at 20 acres now, maybe. Maybe a little bit bigger.
And two, now it was just 3 stories. I think when I was when we were here. It's weird, actually, kind of being a survivor of such a plane crash or an event that's so historic. You know, I mean, everybody.
You know, every time I pass the exit on the interstate, I keep swearing, you got to stop. You got to make it a point to go.
Just shoot by there and just tell them Mark from South Carolina said, I mean, we already been out there once today. You just pull in, just right there, go up the steps. You're on. It's not public property, but it's not private property either. That's what it's there for. It's there for anybody who wants to go by and see it.
That's cardio. I want to stay close to the main entrance.
Well, actually, just kind of going through it, I guess it's fine because we never have done it. But I remember my room was on the 3rd floor, last room.
Okay.
Plus, I slur my words from the stroke.
Not a problem.
I know.
Sure, it's changed a lot since you've been here, huh?
It's gotten bigger. But actually, the year we crashed, and when we had the monument dedication, that was the 50th year of this hospital. 50. But that had just gone through before we crashed, they had just gone through a mock disaster.
Okay.
Whatever.
I got you. A lot of people sit on benches during the day. You know, when you got a break waiting on a doctor or whatever.
Everybody's wondering what the hell we're doing. You get hit.
No, we're all going to sue the hospital.
Let's make more money off that than this bad. There it is. This market's been in stuff, wasn't it? That's it.
You want to go stand with it, Mark, get a picture?
We were the first ones here that night, and I remember when the lady that brought us, we pulled in, did that little loop, and Men, doctors and nurses, everybody was standing outside in their garbs waiting on us. I remember that.
Good. Well, you got that open spot right there.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, and I know they have a landscaper who does this.
Well, this is just a choice. Right there it is.
You know, I never went there. Stopped out and read it.
Anniversary. I came down because I didn't remember going through the creek. I remember about halfway as we left the plane going up to the remote trailer. Johnny Moats left. So I didn't remember everything, so that's what brought me back down here that time. So me and Dwayne easily we re-walked. He showed me how we came out. So that's what brought me back. And then once I went back home, that was probably about July, August, and I had my stroke in. But I just happened to call Dwayne because at that time, all the responders, none of them had Facebook. Facebook was kind of new, or they didn't seek out anything, you know, didn't seek out. Just goes back to my stroke.
That's all right.
They avoided publicity. But I just happened to call Dwayne, and I bounced it off of him. I said, you could ever, if some of the survivors come down and meet some of the first responders. He said, no, man, it'd be good. So, when 2017, for the 40th anniversary, that's how it got started. It just, and it just exploded after that.
Yeah.
USA Today, Justin Bickford did an article. CNN picked it up. Plus the Matt, I don't think of his name, but still writes for the Clarion Ledger, put an article out. And after that year, I mean, we put Gillsburg on the map like nothing else. And like I said, it's just taken off.
Yeah.
But over the years, they've had so many people from other countries. Dwayne, usually, in other words, Dwayne has property that the monument's on, and now that's a 501c, so that property is for the monument. Yeah. But
Oh,
over
it's
the
a
years,
historic place in the state of Mississippi.
oh yeah. And, so we get together every October 19th and 20th. The 19th, people used to kind of celebrate or did concerts or whatever on the 20th, but didn't feel right. Our last show was in Greenville, Spartan Brigade, where I grew up in South Carolina. Was on the 19th, so everybody has kind of started celebrating that rather than the 20th. But we'll always get together on the 19th and 20th. Skynyrd owns a little bit of black R&B band, OJ. We used to play,
One second.
yeah.
I'll be right back.
Oh yeah, man. Much appreciated.